de nuevo, estudiantes. Hello again. Welcome back to another video, another exciting video about conjugating verbs in Spanish. As you guys know, I'm Señorita Wigglesworth, your favorite teacher of all time. And we are learning on this video, we're learning all about conjugating irregular present tense verbs or stem changing verbs. The last video we learned about regular verbs, and this one's just stem changing verbs. And it's a little trickier. It's one extra step, but I think you have it. You got it. All right. So what the chop suey, just like that last video, it was chop suey smoosh. This video it's chop suey switcheroonie smoosh. This is the extra step, switcheroonie. Chop suey and smoosh are the same exact steps as you learned in the previous video. So you're good there. The only thing now, you just have to check out the switcheroonie part, okay? All right, so just as a review though, let's go through chop suey. As we talked about in the last video, there are three types of infinitives. The AR, ER, or IR infinitive verbs, and what you do in the chop suey is that you chop off these endings and you are left with the stem. So for example, this querer means to want, just so that you know. Querer means to want. When you chop off the ER, you're left with this stem. This is our stem. Okay? So we have Q-U-E-R. It's really important to take note of what letters are in the stem so that when we get to the switcheroonie stage, you can make sure that you have all of the letters that you still need in that stem after that step, okay? All right. So let's take a look at switcheroonie. In switcheroonie, you have this stem. You have this stem, and well, first I just want to say stem-changing verbs are also called boot verbs because they fall into three different categories. The E to IE category, the E to I category, and the O to UE category. There's another little half category that is U to UE, but it only applies to very few verbs, so they kind of put these two together. OU and U, O to UE and U to UE. Okay? So these are our three different categories. The reason why they're called boot verbs is because they change all the conjugations that actually change their stem fall into, if you look at the conjugation chart, if we take a look at this conjugation chart up here, we have all of these pronouns on the side to let you guys know what these endings are related to, right? Yo pienso, I think. If we drew an outline around all of the conjugations on this chart that stem changed, then we would have a boot. Do you see the boot here? Let me draw it for you. So this is our boot, right? And as you guys can see, it's all of the singular column. So yo, I, tú, you, usted, él, ella, you, formal, él, he, and ella, she. And the third person of the plural column. So ellos and ellas for they, and also the second person for you all for ustedes, which is used outside of Spain. Okay? So good. So let's take a look at what it looks like to change the stem. All right. So depending on the type of irregular verb in the type of category, E to IE, E to I, or O to UE, you take the letter in the stem that's before that arrow, and you change it to the letters that's after that. Let me write it up here a little bit. So if it's an E to IE stem change, you would take the E that is in the original stem, you'd take it out, and you would replace it with IE. And then all the other letters that would be part of that are still in that stem. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Querer, and in the last slide, we were using this verb querer. And we had this as the stem. If you remember, when we chopped off the ER in the chop suey stage step, we were left with this old stem. This E is red because it is an E to IE stem change. So this stem changes to this stem. Do you see how this E changes to IE? And you still have the QU and the R on the sides of it. It's really important that you remember these other letters. You don't anything, especially this R. Oftentimes we forget that that's also part of the stem, and it still needs to be there. Good. So now you just come back to the smoosh stage. The smoosh part is the same exact one as in chop suey smoosh. You're going to add all of those AR, ER, IR endings. They're the same exact endings to those subject pronouns. So, for example, we have quiere as in the new stem that falls into the boot for ella. Ella falls into the boot. We have that new stem. We add the E because an ER verb for ella is E. And we have ella quiere. Okay? So that's basically it. The one thing I do want to make sure that you guys get, there might be a verb that, for example, entender. Entender. This means to understand. And it is an E, oops, let me write that a little bit further on. It's an E to IE stem changer. But if you take a look, if we chop suey this, we've gotten rid of this part, and this is our stem. But if we take a look at this stem, we're looking for an E, and look, we have two E's. Which E do we use? Which E do we change to IE? Which E?
One.
It's the second one. The one that is closest to the end. Okay? So the new stem would be E-N-T-I-E-N-D. Entiende. And you might add entiende if it was ella, or usted or él. Okay? I hope that is clear. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in class. Yeah. All right. See you next time.